Welcome to the Mindset Game podcast. I'm Vered Kogan, and I'm very excited to introduce to you Ilana Lea. Ilana's passion and life's work is described as super longevity training, which you're going to hear more about today. And that is designed to achieve and maintain optimal health. Ilana earned a bachelor's degree in physical education from Wingate Institute in Israel, and she owns a boutique fitness studio in Scottsdale, Arizona. Ilana is a highly accomplished competitor for over 25 years. In fact, she has won many national fitness and figure competitions. There's a long list of them, such as earning first place in the 2016 IPL Arizona Championship. And I needed to research what IPL is. It stands for International Physique League Championship. Ilana, it is a pleasure to have you on this show. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Vera. It's great to be here.
Would you be willing to share with us how you got into this line of work?
Absolutely. I'd love to share that. I actually grew up in Israel, and probably from the age of like 13, I found myself bossing all the other kids around, outside, like do this, do that, run around this, do your somersaults, do your handstands. And I just understood that I would always want to educate people when it came to exercise. So it's really from a young age, I've always educated just for fun and then started teaching pretty early on. I served in the Israeli army and I taught Israeli soldiers how to get fit for combat. And then I finished the army and then I went into Wingate to learn about physical education. So that's, about 25, 30 years ago. And now I'm here in the States in Scottsdale, Arizona, and I've been a fitness expert and a personal trainer in the Valley for over 25 years. So it's just been, I guess it's been my calling almost my whole life.
Oh, that's really exciting to hear. And one of the things that I think is really important for the listeners when we talk about fitness and health is this kind of mind-body connection, in the sense of many of us have a desire to get fit, to get healthy. Maybe we even set a plan, we join clubs, we hire trainers, we do all kinds of things, but not always do we sustain that behavior.
Right.
So, what do you have to kind of share with the audience around how to get lasting, sustainable results in this area of their life?
That is such a good question. And I've probably been pondering this question since the beginning of my career because I've trained so many people from all walks of life, all ages, men, women. And it's always that, how can people stick to a workout routine that's right for them? And so to answer that question in as most simple as I can, that's really the reason I talk up to people about long-term fitness and long-term wellness. I call it super longevity training. Like, don't work out just for today. Don't work out just to look good next year in your bathing suit. But how about you work out, you take on exercise as a way to assure that you're going to have an amazing quality of life in your 50s, 60s, 70s, and on, as long as you want to live, because many people live long, but they don't really have the quality of life that they desire. And that's really a heartbreaker. And so, here I'm coming and saying, look, let me teach you, let me help you take on a mindset of a long term. Be fit for the long term, not for the right now only.
And I love that perspective because many of us can envision our later years, our older years, and say, this is what I want to do. I want to travel. I want to be able to be mobile, to have energy and vitality in my life. But right now I'm so busy. So I'm going to, maybe put it off till next year, or I'm only in my 40s. I can wait till I'm in my 50s, or I'm in my 50s. I can still wait a little bit longer. I'm feeling just fine. So what do you say to those individuals that are okay right now and they're just way too busy?
I don't think anyone should be so busy that they can't really do what they need to do for their body, because without their health, they don't have a future. So let's say it's someone that's really doing fine. They're doing fine. But what happens is our bodies they don't show immediately that suddenly you're out of shape. Actually, the unseen of being out of shape happens 10 years before you actually like, oh my God, I can't get off the chair good. You know, it almost feels like it's suddenly, but it's actually not suddenly, but it shows up later. So people who tell me, look, I'm just going to do this in 10 years, I'm like, okay, but you might want to consider that again, because even though you can't see that you're stepping out of shape right now, it's actually happening within the body. And you don't want to wait until you see. You don't want to wait until you have some kind of something that's not working well. You want to catch that before that starts showing up.
And so, what can really help people who have a desire to get fit? What do you recommend in terms of, creating some structures in their life, or maybe setting themselves up for success, so that when resistance shows up, whether it's I'm too busy or other priorities, so that they can maintain that and sustain it, as you said, in the super long term?
The first thing I would recommend, so if a person's like, I'm just too busy, or, I have other things going on, or I'll do it later, I almost have to encourage them to close the door to not doing it. Okay. Like that, like it's not an option. Like there can't be an option. Maybe I'll do it. Maybe I won't. There has to be, no, that's not an option. And maybe they have to work on that for a while. Maybe for the next 6 months, they won't exercise, but every time that comes up, oh yeah, well, I'm busy. They're like, no, I know that is not true anymore. That is not an option. And maybe they have to prepare themselves for a long-term investment in physical activity. And maybe it will take them a week, maybe it will take them 6 months, but they have to close that door, or else the obstacle, the self-sabotage will come right back up. It's pretty profound, the resistance of human beings to move their bodies. It's every time, every day I see this, even with the willing, I see it. And I see it in myself. I went through different phases of not really wanting to do it. But of course, I've closed that door. Mm-hmm. So it's not an option. So,
and it's such a simple yet powerful way to look at this, shifting from this kind of like, I should do this because I want to be healthy in 10 plus years, because I want to have more energy today, I want to be more mobile, or whatever that might be, to I must. It's not even an option.
Exactly.
So some things in our life are musts. And so this is where it gets to, we might consider the musts in our life things that we do for others. Yes, I must be a good father, a good mother, a good spouse, a good friend, right? And many of us, especially those people who have a mindset of service, right, to help other people, that can sometimes come in the way of their health, because maybe they have the best intention, but somebody needs their attention. So what do you say to people like that? Really do want to close the door and make it a must, but they really care about service.
It's so real what you're saying. And people face this all the time. First of all, this is real stuff. I mean, this is a reality, what you're expressing, and it's not a bad reality. It's not like, oh, you're a bad person because you want to help others and not yourself. So first, I tell people, don't be hard on yourself. If you think you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing for your own body, whatever the reasons is, some of them are better than others. Don't be hard on yourself, because that's not going to help. Just, observe it, see what you're doing. Keep on rekindling that desire to stay on track. And if you keep on rekindling and you get back on track, even though it wasn't a perfect process, you miss some, appointments of exercise, etc., of course. But if you look at that, like, let's say on a span of 5 years, let's say you're doing that the whole time you're raising your younger children, when the children are young. So you're doing that. But on a span of 5 to 10 years, maybe, you're still getting your exercise and you're still hitting that, not the way maybe you think you should be doing it. So after 10 years, you're going to be in a pretty good place when it comes to exercise and fitness, where if you're really hard on yourself, all you're saying is like, oh, again, I missed my workout again. And then you start feeling bitter because you're giving yourself to other people and to people you care about, but you're really not doing what you're supposed to be doing. It creates conflict. It's really important not to get into the struggle of what should I be doing? It's better to what you nourish that feeling of like, okay, I know I should be exercising right now, but I'm choosing to do this. Okay, I'm just going to keep on going for it. And 5 years later, you're in a much, much fitter place. And I see this all the time. I see this with my clients, with the people I work with.
And it's so beautiful, Ilana, because what you're really kind of sharing with people here is it's okay to be imperfect. Just keep with the effort, do whatever
Exactly.
you can. Be kind with yourself, be compassionate with yourself, not judge yourself, and just stay focused on the vision.
Do you know that people begin to crave exercise about 10 years or more after they start exercise? I'm not talking about the athletes, the ones that always, I'm talking about people that are beginning this journey into being fitter and healthier. I've watched people for 10 years coming in because they had an appointment, but hating every moment, kind of liking me because I'm kind of fun, but hating the exercise, not wanting to be here. And then suddenly after 10 years, they're like, wow, I'm starting to feel like I want to come and work out. I'm like, good. And they're surprised. They're like, oh my God, that took me 10 years. I'm like, yeah, it takes a long time to set a new groove in the body. If it's something that a person doesn't have a tendency for, but they know it's important, it takes a long time to incorporate that into their own, who they are. And that's okay. That's really okay.
Oh, you're giving a lot of hope, I imagine, to people.
I am.
I hate it.
Totally. It's the only way.
Yeah, and it speaks to habits, right? To this concept of habits. So how can people make it even easier for this habit in their life to be more fit, to whether it's go to the gym or to work out at home, right? What can they do to make it a little easier to fit into their schedule and into their life?
Okay. The first thing they can definitely take on is that more isn't better. Doing more. Like, okay, I'm going to do 5 days a week. I'm going to go, I'm going to jog, I'm going to go to the gym, 6 days a week. Okay. So bring it down a notch. More isn't better. Okay. So that could actually be a relief for them because they probably have an image that they're supposed to be doing something that they're actually not supposed to be doing, especially if they're beginning this pattern, this new habit. So just like anything else, they would put in their calendar, whether it's for business, family, pleasure, they have to put an appointment in their calendar. They can start with 3 times a week. 3 times a week is beautiful because it's not too much, but on a span of, 6 months to a year, wow. I mean, you can really get into beautiful shape. So they set an appointment. If that's too much, like, okay, I set an appointment, but Ilana, I really don't have time to work out. I'm like, okay, how about you set a 15-minute appointment that you stop everything you're doing. It's your time for you. And I don't even call it exercise. And I try not to call it work out because work out sounds horrible. Work out, it's terrible. How about just movement? How about move your body? I don't care. Don't have time to go anywhere. Okay. Put some music on and move your body, jump rope for 15 minutes. Do something to move your body. The physical body is so responsive to movement and action. It can change your whole chemistry for the whole day. So when I say that to people, they like that. But many, many times as they attempt to do that, they always, it keeps on coming up that it's not enough. It's not enough. But Ilana, I'm not doing enough. And honestly, that's my biggest challenge with them, is to keep on telling them more isn't better. When you're getting into a new habit of exercise, you cannot bombard your system, because if you do, injuries, overtraining, you don't become energized from your workouts, you become de-energized, because workouts can also be stressful. They can burn out the adrenal gland. So working out, exercising can be very good, but can also be very detrimental to your health if you're not doing it in a complementary way. And this is, I feel, what many people, they're just not really in touch with.
So, what do you say to those people that are like, yeah, I want to do it, but I got to be honest, I'm afraid I'm going to hurt myself. Or maybe I've been
What,
injured and I want to, bring that injury back up.
what we're doing, what I want people to do, is to become super longevity professional athletes. Okay, it's different. So the minute you start experiencing pain, I'm not calling about, being out of your comfort zone. That's different. But pain, we're like, ooh, that didn't feel good. Oh, I did a shoulder press. Oh, you stop. Your body is talking to you. So I'm very, as you can see, I'm starting moving my arms a lot, because I'm very passionate about making sure people never get injured or don't get injured again. I think it's the smartest way to work out. We have to exercise smart, not hard. We have to be intense, but I call it relaxed intensity. You will have more results by working out in that way than if you're like, that's it. I'm going and I'm going to push. That whole drive, that whole push is of the past.
So it sounds like one of the important things is to listen to our body.
Oh, so
And to
important.
notice when we're experiencing pain, as you said, not just intensity or, going out of our comfort zone, which is important, of course, that kind of good stress, if you will. But when
Right.
we're actually feeling something that tells us, something is off here, to listen to our body and to stop what we're doing.
Exactly. And unfortunately, that sound of, we kind of shut it down. So you get sensations in your body when you're working out, like, ooh, maybe I shouldn't do these last 3 repetitions. But then the brain comes and, no, I said I was going to do 15, do 15. And I tell people, don't go with that. Don't go with mind over matter. Please, when you hear that first thing, like maybe I should stop at 12, listen to that, because you want your body in the best shape in your later years. And so I'm constantly helping people wake up that sound.
And I think that's a bigger conversation around trusting the body, because our body speaks to us in whispers. And it could be that, once in a while I have maybe a little ache or a little something in the body, and the body's trying to give us a message. So what do you suggest for people who are at a later stage in life, that they didn't do all this stuff when they were in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, perhaps even, and now they find themselves, where it's a little harder to get going, physically it's harder. What do they need to know to be at their healthiest and best for the rest of their life?
It's important that you seek good advice. It's very important where you put yourself when it comes to exercise, whether it's a trainer or a class that you like. It's important that you do the correct research. It's important that you tell that person or that teacher what you want, what you're going for, and make sure that they resonate with you. You just don't want to listen to your friend, hey, come to this, boot camp with me and let's do it, don't just jump into something, because that is when you start in the wrong way. And yes, you could experience injuries. When you have an injury, you lose that trust in your body, you get scared, you don't want to continue. So it's very, very important how you begin and how you set a correct foundation. Foundation is so important. to assure that you're in the right direction of health, fitness, for the long term.
So, Ilana, I want to kind of pause here and just share my gratitude for all of the really helpful tips that you are sharing with us today, and really giving almost like freedom to enter into fitness or to maintain fitness from a place of ease rather than a place of pressure or kind of like needing to achieve a goal.
Right.
So and making it more habitual and being kind and easy with ourselves. So how can people learn even more about you and all of the wonderful work that you do?
So I own like you mentioned in the beginning, I own a boutique fitness in North Scottsdale by the name of Enerjoy Fitness. So I combine the words energy and joy. Got to have some fun, right? And so it's a very non-intimidating, warm environment that people can train here with personal trainers. That's mainly what we do in small groups and in a private setting. So they can contact me, Ilana Lea, my phone number. You can contact me directly at 480-510-8547. You can email me at ilana@enerjoyfitness.com. Find me on Facebook, Enerjoy Fitness. Find me. I'd love to talk to you. I like to talk with people. I like to connect with you, whether you decide to do some work at Enerjoy Fitness or not. That's fine. We're not doing any hard sells here, but I'm a big educator. I want people to know that it's possible. And I have the way to show them how to go about things. So find me.
Well, thank you so much, Ilana, for sharing your experience, your expertise with us of the reality of what actually works for those of us that want to create this habit in our lives so that 10, 20, 30 plus years from now, we can experience even more joy and energy. And I'm very grateful to you for your time.
Yeah, thank you so much, Barrett. It was really enjoyable.